Hello, Helen here. Welcome back to my channel. Today's card's going to be a very clean and simple card. It's not going to take very long at all. I'm going to start off with my usual card base and an extra piece of card, and I'm going to be using the Alter New Beautiful Peony stamp set again. I've done quite a few cards with this just lately. I'm also going to be using this wallpaper art stamp just for the stalk. I realised all the flower stamps that I've got, I haven't got one single one that's got a stalk in it, so this is the one that I'm going to use today. I'm going to start off by making a mask with this Inkadinkado masking paper. Now, you really, on reflection, when I've done this, you wouldn't really necessarily need to use a full mask like I'm going to. You could just use a little bit of post-it and stick it over the very bottom part of the flower, but I can use the masks again, so I'm going to make a full one. Now, to do my front panel, I've got a piece of extra card that's exactly the same size as my card base, and all I'm going to do is just cut 2 centimeters off all the way around that, and that's going to be the panel that I stamp my flower onto. I'm then going to do the stamping with my Misty. You certainly don't need to use a Misty. This simple stamping, you could just use an acrylic block, but I just happen to have the Misty sitting on my desk, so I thought I'd use it. So all I'm going to do is start by stamping the one peony flower, and then I'll mask that and do the stamping of the stalk, and then finally the leaf. It's just one leaf that I'm going to put on it, just to keep it very simple. Today I'm stamping with Memento Tuxedo black ink because it's Copic friendly, and I'm planning to colour the flower and stalk and leaf in with Copics this time. Now I'm also going to just use a little piece of post-it note to mask off the stalk when I come to do the leaf, but I couldn't decide which side to do the leaf, so I fiddled around for a little bit, but I decided to put it on the right. It looked a little bit more pleasing to the eye to have it on that side. For the Copic Coloring, I'm just going to be using 2 shades of yellow and 2 shades of green. With the flower, I'm going to just put in some of the darkest yellow into the deepest part of the petals, or if there's a curl in a petal, or a petal overlapping another petal, I'm just going to do the dark colour, and then I'll go over all of that with the lighter of the 2 colours. And in a few cases I'll just use the blender pen to just push out some of the colour if I'm wanting just a little bit more of a highlight at the ends, tips of the petal. And I just work my way around the flower petal by petal doing that. In the centre I'm just going to use 2 different red colours. One's just slightly more coral red. Here I've gone over the line a little bit, so I'm just going to use my blender pen just to push the ink back a little bit, and that gets rid of that little overlap. If you're interested in any of the colours that I've used or any of the other materials, I always have my blog address in the description underneath the video, which will take you over to my blog, and there's a full list of all the materials I've used over there. Next I'm going to make a bow using my bow maker that my husband made. All it is a piece of wood with some holes drilled into it, and then some pieces of dowel that you can move so that you can make bigger or smaller bows. It's a very simple idea and it works really well. Before I tie my bow, I'll just cut a piece of ribbon that's a bit wider than my card panel, because I want to be able to put it behind and stick it down. And then when I come to tie the bow, I'll wrap the ribbon around twice around the two dowels that I'm going to be using, and then I'll lay that strip across the back of the bow, which is actually the front of where I'm tying, and then I'll flip one of the ends over to the back and through and tie the knot, and then that ties the bow onto the strip that's going to be stuck onto the card. Hope that makes sense. It's a bit hard to show you that. Once I pull my bow off the two dowels, I can then fluff the loops of the bows out on each side so that I'll have two loops, and then I can find the two ends of the piece that I tied onto the back of my bow, which I'm going to stick onto the front panel. So I'll stick that down with some sellotape, and then I'm going to be able to trim the little ends off with a pair of scissors. I'm then going to stick a piece of craft foam onto the back of my card panel with double-sided tape, and then with double-sided tape again stick that onto the front of the card, and that's the card made. How simple is that? Simple but elegant. I'll leave you looking at just a couple of photos of close-ups of the card, and at the end there may be some videos that you might be interested in. Thanks for joining me today. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.